Man, what's up, good peoples? So I wanted to come on here real quick and uh do this. I tried to record this earlier, but I couldn't even really get my thoughts together, right? So I said, well, let me just do it again. I'm gonna just do it live so that way I can do it and just be over with it. But listen, you probably have heard by now that Jada admitted that her and Will have been separated for 7 years. 7 years? So you mean when the Oscar situation happened, y'all wasn't even y'all wasn't even a couple, but you're presenting this image for folk? Yeah. So the reason I wanted to talk about this is because I know a lot of people now, you know, maybe there's not a lot of you, at least who watch me, think that, that's the Jada and Will have a kind of marriage that you would want. That's fine. But in general, we as humans in this day and age like to look to celebrities, social media and influences and all kind of stuff, and we look at their marriages and relationships and we say, "Ooh, I want that." And what you don't realize, you want the picture. I promise you don't want what they got behind closed doors, because no matter how perfect they look in front of the camera, behind closed doors, they are regular humans. How do I know that? Because on this planet, all we have to choose from are regular humans. That's it. There are no superhumans on this planet. Like the Avengers, that's not real. Marvel, DC, that stuff is made up. We're regular humans. And one thing I know for sure, if you are married to a earthling, you got issues in your relationship. There's no such thing as a perfect marriage, because we ourselves are so messed up. So while you are admiring these people, while you look into these folks and, ooh, relationship goals, I want that, you better check yourself before you wreck yourself, because uh, most of what you see is a facade. Like, I don't even want you trying to model your marriage after me, because I ain't perfect. Like, if my wife wasn't if my wife wasn't shy, I'd bring her in here and she can tell you, no, that brother ain't perfect. She says I'm a great husband. But at the same time, she says he got a long way to go. And I ain't trying to be perfect. My point is, if you're going to follow somebody, because we do follow people, follow somebody that's following Christ, specifically for marriage. Why? Because marriage is God's idea. Like, you can't just make it up well, you can make it up how you want, but you're going to suffer. 7 years they've been married. I mean, they've been separated. That's crazy. One of my philosophies about marriage, uh, marriage is too difficult. It costs you too much to do it and suck at it. Like, if you're going to be married, what's the point of sucking? Like, don't suck at it. It costs you too much. That's like you playing a football game, but you sitting on the bench on the sideline getting tackled. If you're gonna get tackled, you might as well get in a game. In the same way, I'm saying, if you're gonna be married, you might as well be good at it. But who y'all following though? Like, who? Regular humans. That whole Oscars thing. So think about this. It's so messed up that Will Smith, one of the biggest movie stars on the planet, embarrassed his whole self in front of the world for a woman that wasn't even his, for a woman that reportedly wanted Tupac. Now, I don't know if that's true. That's what folks say, right? But a woman who slept with her son's friend. Yeah, like, if we're honest, do y'all know that's that? Don't that sound crazy to you? As I'm not saying that Will is crazy. I'm not saying that Jada is crazy. I'm saying that's crazy behavior, right? Now, so I saw this on Instagram this morning. Earthquake had posted a video that he posted after the Oscars, right? And so I thought, I'm like, why is he posting this again? And then at the end of the video, it said Jada and Will has been separated for 7 years. And I was like, oh, that's interesting. But I didn't think it was real. And I was intending to look it up, but I didn't. So I got to work. And so I'm sitting here at my desk and I'm working on actually a new video on love. So I want to talk about some things that I've discovered about love that I don't think we're really talking about, right? My wife comes in the office and she said, "You heard about Will and Jada?" I said, "I saw something about that on Instagram this morning, but I didn't look into it." She said, "No, it's real." And so I go look it up, and sure enough, she just admitted they've been separated for 7 years. And here's the thing: I, why was she even doing this interview? Because she got a book coming out. This side note, what I've noticed about these celebrities too, when they got a book coming out, you'll see them in all of these media outlets and different things on the Breakfast Club or whatever. But another thing that they'll do sometimes, not all of them, but they'll create some controversy to sell their book. And I'm not saying that they make up lies, but they'll speak just like Scottie Pippen when his book got ready to come out. He started talking about Michael Jordan. You really talking about the person who, without him, nobody would know who you are. Like, I don't care what y'all say, Scottie Pippen would not be in the top 50 if it were not for Michael Jordan. Say what you want. As a matter of fact, y'all gonna disagree with this. I don't think he should be in there anyway. But that's another story. We're talking about Will and Jada. So here's what something Jada said in her in her interview. She said, "We just got deep love for each other, and we're going to figure out what that looks like for us." What? You know what popped in my head when I read that? There was an episode of Good Times. If you're too young to know what Good Times is, great show from the '70s. Go check it out. Uh, I hear James in my head saying, "Are you crazy, Negro? Are you crazy?" But he said the other N word. But we have listen to what she said. We have deep love for each other, but we're going to figure out what that looks like for us. Let me tell you why that sounds crazy. That's like saying, uh, I have a glass of water, but I want to see what water means to us. Water means the same thing to everybody. That's just like the folk who think like, I can just tell you I'm a girl and all of a sudden I'm a girl. You can't do that. I don't care who I don't care how many laws they pass. I don't care who how many restrooms you can go in or who say, "Yep, that I know he got a penis, but that's a girl." That's a lie. God determines gender. God says that's a man, that's a woman. You can't all of a sudden you can feel like a girl all you want. You can be a girl and feel like a man all you want. That don't make you one. Sometimes I feel like a nut. I am kind of crazy a little bit, but not all the time. Sometimes I feel like a nut. Sometimes I don't. But I ain't a nut. That was corny. It's okay. So let me tell you something about love. She said we have deep love for each other. Love doesn't look that way. Nah, it love don't look that way, and you don't get to rewrite what love is. Marriage is God's idea. He created it. We didn't create it. So God is the one that determines what it takes to be successful at it. As a matter of fact, God is the only one. If you do marriage God's way, it is the only way that's guaranteed you will not fail. But you keep doing marriage the way you want to do it. Keep following these celebrities and, ooh, yeah, I want a marriage like that. I want my husband to do that. I want my wife to do that. Because if you want that, you got to take all of it. So one of the things I ask couples when they come into my office is this: who taught you how to do marriage? Now, it's kind of a trick question because I know no one taught them. But sometimes when they have parents who've been married a long time, like say like been married 20, 30 years, they'll say, "Oh, my parents been married, 35 years." And then my next question is, okay, but how did they do that? And the answer is, I don't know. Right. You know why you don't know? Because you were around, but you were not in the marriage. You don't know how they made it 35 years, and you don't know if the 35 years were a 35 year that you would want. You don't know how many times they cursed each other out and you didn't know. You don't know how they made up. You don't know, who cheated in the first year or the third year. Like you don't know that stuff. All you know is they look loving now and they've been together 35 years, but they didn't teach you how to do marriage. My point in saying that is if you're going to model your life, your marriage after somebody, find somebody who is doing marriage the way God says do it. And I'm not telling you that make sure I'm accurate. I'm not telling you that just because I'm biased. I'm telling you that because it's the best advice for you. I told you, I said a few weeks ago, the quality of your life is based on the quality of your decisions. I got this from Darius Daniels, right? I'll give credit. The quality of your life depends on the quality of your decisions, and the quality of your decisions depend on the quality of the information you bring in, right? Now, the best information on how to do life well on the planet in whatever area you want to name is the Bible. And folk, we read everything but the Bible. And I believe this is an example of that, right? So they separated for 7 years, all the while putting up this front for the public. You know what we call that? People pleasing. The psychological term for it is codependence. It's a dysfunction. It's a disease of the soul, a disease of the self. People pleasing, it people pleasing will sabotage your life. You know where it comes from? Childhood. So many folk think, oh, I don't have childhood issues. Y'all come in my office all the time. No, I'm good. And see, this is a clear example. This is a clear example, and y'all probably still won't get it because you thought, oh, that's them and they're a celebrity. This is a clear example of um, being successful in the world by the world standard and still have a whole lot of junk going on inside from childhood. Because so I listened to Will's book. I listen to books. I like listening instead of reading, right? So I listened to his book. Great book. I liked it a lot. But as I'm listening as a therapist, I'm thinking, man, I wonder if he really dealt with all the stuff that he needed to deal with. And he talked about therapy in there. So I'm like, okay, cool. He got money and there's some great therapists out there. So hopefully he got the help he needed. But when I saw the Oscars, I was like, oh, that's childhood stuff. But now, y'all been doing this for 7 years, faking and fronting. Oh yeah, y'all need to see somebody. And I'm saying that because uh, they need help. But you, the common folk, the few folk that follow me, don't let your childhood stuff sabotage your life. Men, I just told y'all that on Monday in Manhood Mondays. Don't let your childhood stuff sabotage your life, right? The thing is, people like that are full of pride, but they can't tell because when you're walking in pride, you don't know it. Pride will dress itself up to look like righteousness. That is why the Bible says pride goes before destruction, because you don't know you're walking in it until destruction shows up. Pride is all about me, my needs, my wants, my hurts, my desires, right? Love is not about you. Love is about the person you're loving, but pride is about you. So now, when she say we got deep love for each other, what does that look like, love or pride? How is it love when you are married to one person and you sleep with your son's friend? Y'all, listen. Y'all can fall for the banana and tailpipe if you want to. That's crazy, right? And then for Will to have this, I'm gonna call it obsession to protect and save women he come in contact with who mean him no good. That's self-destructive, right? And so let me say this about love before I forget. Love doesn't do harm. It doesn't. Now, that's not to say, right? If I love you, I will never harm you because I'm a human and I can do something really stupid. And so I can love you and do something really stupid. That's true. That means in that moment I was not loving you. But consistently, yeah, you're not going to get me with that. Love looks a certain way and it don't look like that. That's pride will make you think you're going the right way, but you're not. Here's something else she said. Something else she said in the interview. She said, and the reason I'm pointing this out is because I teach this all the time. So I hope some of my students see this and you'll know I ain't making this stuff up. Here's what she said. I think we're still stuck in our fantasy of what we thought the other person should be. I know I can't see you, but just raise your hand. If you've heard me say you have to divorce the fantasy to stay married to your reality, you have to divorce the idea in your head. so you can stay married to the fantasy in your bed. That's backwards. That's backwards. You got to divorce the fantasy in your head so you can stay married to the stranger in your bed. I've been teaching that for a while. And she flat out said, we still stuck on the fantasy. Do you understand that when you get married, nobody, yeah, I was thinking, not a person marries who they think they marry. You marry a fantasy. I don't have time to go into it, but listen, it's the reason why those first few years there's so much trouble. You're married to your fantasy. You need to divorce your fantasy so you can stay married to your reality. And if you do that, if you accept your reality, the things that you don't like, your reality is going to be way better than the fantasy because you made the fantasy up based on you, what you want, how you would feel, based on pride, not based on you did not create the fantasy in your head about the partner you wanted to be with based on how much love you wanted to give. You didn't do that. And love is about giving, right? See, uh, you have to make sure that as you are doing life, you are being your authentic self. Because if you're not, happiness is impossible for you. Here's one thing I know about life on this planet. And I know folk gonna still keep trying to do it because obviously I ain't reaching everybody. But listen, money will never. Um, so when God in the beginning, he said it's not good for man to be alone. He wasn't talking about money. As a matter of fact, Adam had money. Did y'all know there was gold in the garden? Talk about that later. Money will never satisfy you. Your job, your material possessions, uh, uh, you got to be healthy and whole inside. You exit childhood. You were raised by imperfect people, and those imperfect people had never raised a you before. So how they got it right? Just because you're successful, or just because you don't think you got anger issues, or you don't think you got codependence, or you don't think you whatever, you better check yourself before you wreck yourself. And man, that's just crazy. That's just flat out crazy that you guys are gonna go 7 years for an image. And I guess the reality, they're doing the same thing everybody else doing to them. Like folk are using them and other celebrities, right? I want a marriage like that. I want to be like them. Uh, I'm trying to pattern my life after that because I care what folk think. Well, here they are pretending to be together because of what folk. Now, if you're gonna tell me, well, it's because of money reasons and they had certain deals and they needed to, present this image. I listen. Not I said the cat. I ain't doing that. You can't pay me. At this age, I've been through too much. You can't pay me to sabotage my life that way. Nah. Uh-uh. So what's the message for you? Learn how to love. First of all, learn what love is. When I finish this video that I'm creating on love, it's gonna shock some of y'all. Some of y'all not gonna. It ain't what you want. We've so misconfused love. Love is not about how good you feel. But I'm not. That's all I'm gonna give y'all. Just that's just a preview. Learn how to love. Uh, Divorce your fantasy. If you're married, divorce the fantasy in your head and get to know your reality. Okay, and then deal with your childhood stuff because it is sabotaging your life. You may not know it, but I bet your partner knows it. I guarantee it, as my dad would say. Yeah, your partner know that you got some stuff going on. Here, look, I'm gonna give you one easy clue how you know you're dealing with childhood stuff at any given time or whatever. Whenever you respond to your pain or hurt or frustration, disappointment, whatever, the things that we call negative emotions, whenever you respond to that stuff in an immature way, it is because the inner child is in control. That means you got childhood issues. Don't matter how perfect you think your parents were. Doesn't matter how well you think they raised you. Doesn't matter that they was not trying to harm you. I know they weren't trying to harm you. Look, all parents do what they know how to do. They still messed it up. I wish I could. I wish I could. I ain't gonna lie to you. I'm dead serious. I wish that I could counsel Will. I wish I could meet with him. Me and Dr. Wallace. If he did a session or two with Dr. Wallace, Dr. Patrick Wallace would get him straight, quick. He wouldn't be dealing with all of the stuff. And I'm talking about Will because he put his childhood stuff out there. But listen, I've been doing this for a while. Jada got major childhood issues too. Major. You don't have that kind of behavior. Okay, y'all get it. So, I just want to share my 2 cents and tell y'all, like, stop making your relationship goals folk who don't know how to do it they don't know how to do it. That's like the blind leading the blind. Be careful. You're going to hurt yourself. Okay? All right. So let me get ready for my sessions. Actually, I'm not going to get ready for my sessions. I'm going to go wash the dishes for my wife like I told her so she can cook. Anyway, y'all take care.